This is Nightly Business Report with Tyler Matheson and Sue Herrera.
Record-setting run, stocks levitate to new highs on this holiday-shortened trading day, but how much gas is left in the market's tank? America shops. Black Friday, it's an annual event, and after a rocky year, retailers have a lot riding on this holiday shopping season. Go small or go home. The Russell 2000 index notches its longest win streak in 20 years, and our market monitor says there are some names that are still worth buying. Those stories and more tonight on Nightly Business Report for Friday, November 25th. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm Tyler Matheson. Sue Herrera is off tonight. Well, doorbusters for stocks. On this Black Friday, consumers were out shopping for bargains while investors returned from Thanksgiving to buy up equities. The Dow, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and even the small-cap Russell 2000 all closed at records on this holiday-shortened trading day, extending the rally seen since Election Day. Stocks have risen sharply on expectations that the president-elect will cut taxes, reduce regulations, and spend heavily on infrastructure. Today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 68 points to 19,152. The index closed at a record every trading day this week. The NASDAQ added 18. The S&P 500 was up 8. And the major indexes saw their third straight week of gains, as you see there, about 1.5% for each of them. Well, the old cliche, of course, is that the markets hate uncertainty, and Trump's election removed some of that. But the market's powerful rally since November 8 is built on a lot of promises, and campaign intentions often prove very hard to achieve. So are stocks pricing in too much anticipation right now? Here to discuss is Ernesto Ramos, head of equities and portfolio manager at BMO Global Asset Management. Ernesto, welcome. Good to have you with us. There are a lot of Make America Great Again expectations built in to stock prices. Are stocks vulnerable as a result?
Well, stocks have front-ended a lot of the good news coming from Trump's election and his announced pro-growth programs. So there might be room for a pullback, but in general, I think the market can continue to move higher because we have a much different environment today than we had a few weeks ago in terms of his announced programs, even if they come in at a smaller amount that he actually talked about in terms of the infrastructure spend and in terms of the tax cuts. It's still going to be very positive for earnings. And at the end of the day, earnings is what drives stock prices higher. So I still see room for further upside, although a lot of that, again, has been front-ended in the last couple of weeks.
So even if some of the anticipation does not come to fruition, you think that even smaller achievements will be correct directionally for the market. Let's talk a little bit about the big winner here, and that so far, among others, have been industrials and defense stocks, but most particularly financials. How do you see them performing over the next few months?
Well, financials are actually in the sweetest spot they have been for quite a number of years because of the following. You had a very flat yield curve, which compresses their net interest margin, which is their ability to make money. So now with interest rates moving higher, especially on the longer end of the curve, that allows their net interest margin to expand, and that's very positive for them. Number two, you have the prospect of lower regulation or rolling back some of Dodd-Frank, which working as part of a bank myself, I know how many resources are devoted to just complying with regulators, and it's an inordinate amount of people and efforts. So just rolling back some of that is going to allow us to be more profitable. So it's very positive from those two perspectives. And finally, just higher economic growth allows for them to start lending again, and demand for loans should grow from here.
Something like, I was told the other day by a very good source, something like 40,000 or 1 out of 6 employees at Chase are tied up with complying with regulations. Ernesto, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tyler.
Ernesto Ramos with BMO Global Asset Management. Well, now to Black Friday. What a day it has been. Retailers reporting a very strong start to the holiday shopping season at both brick and mortar stores and online. That's a positive sign for an industry that gets as much as 40% of its annual revenue from money spent right now, this time of year. The nation's largest department store, Macy's, opened its doors at 5 p.m. yesterday. The CEO said 16,000 shoppers, more than last year, lined the street waiting to enter its flagship store in Manhattan, and they were there to shop.
On a value day like today, they're going to buy. They're not going to wonder and wait. Will it be there tomorrow? Will it be there when I buy it online the next day? So here it's clearly an urgent response and reaction, and so that's why they're here buying. But that combination of using technology and the experience of being inside the store is the way that consumers are shopping today, and will continue to be so in the future.
5-mile traffic jam at Woodbury Commons up in upstate New York today to get into the mall there. Initial indications are that internet sales were also strong. According to Adobe Digital Index, shoppers spent more than $1 billion online Thanksgiving evening. That's a 14% increase from a year ago. Reflects a broader trend away from traditional brick and mortar retailers. Well, Target shattering records. The big box retailer said Thanksgiving Day was the biggest online shopping day in the company's history. Traffic to its website grew by double digits compared with a year ago, and sales even blew past last year's record-breaking Cyber Monday. Target's CEO said shoppers were buying up consumer electronics.
TVs were selling at an unbelievable rate, and when we had a 50-inch 4K TV for under $250, it attracts a lot of attention. But we saw great results with Apple yesterday, with both iPads and watches, the new gaming systems from Xbox and Nintendo, lots of interest there.
Well, Target stores opened at 6 p.m. Thanksgiving evening. The National Retail Federation expects more than 137 million Americans to shop over this 4-day holiday weekend. That is an increase from a year ago, and positive news for an industry that has struggled to boost foot traffic and sales for much of this past year. Courtney Reagan is at the mall at Fairfield Commons in Dayton, Ohio. Courtney, you're back home, my friend. That's very nice.
I sure am. It's really lovely to be back home. And what's also great, Tyler, is that this is a mall that I've been to multiple times. So I've gotten to sort of figure out the pace of what Black Friday looks like from year to year. And you were talking a lot there about retailers' websites and how much of the traffic is moving online. And retailers can do everything that they can possibly think of to give themselves dry run scenarios leading up to a big shopping day like Thanksgiving or like Black Friday. But you really don't know what's going to happen until the day comes. It was going pretty smoothly until about midday on Black Friday. Around that time, Macy's shoppers saw this sign that came up on the website that said temporary shopping issue or temporary shopping pass. Check back in about 10 seconds. Reload your browser. Now that got a little bit better after some period of time, but then there was still some issues clicking through the website. Williams-Sonoma's web and mobile sites were having trouble loading, sometimes upwards of 25 seconds. That is way too long on any day, but especially on Black Friday. Experts tell me that can cost retailers as much as $30,000 an hour when that happens. So yes, sales were strong, but they might have left some on the table when those problems occurred.
It's like you call that a good problem to have, but a problem is a problem any way you look at it. What are shoppers at the mall telling you, Court?
You know, it's the same story every year, and it probably will be for many deals to come, and many years to come, and it's a good one. It's all about deals. That's what Black Friday weekend is all about, and shoppers here feel pretty good about what they've gotten. We know that tablets are on average 25% off. Last year, they were about 12% off, so that's twice as good as what they saw, and many of the shoppers started at those discount stores, and then they went to the anchor stores, and they shopped until they dropped. Take a listen.
We have not gone to sleep yet.
Really?
Yes. We had our turkey and we moved out at 6:30 and we've been going strong.
We stopped at Kohl's and then came straight to the mall after that.
We've started at Walmart. We've been to Target. We have been to the outlet malls in Cincinnati. We're going to do a bunch of other places I can't even think of.
So analysts are telling me that traffic is a little late and somewhat choppy, but many of the mall managers like JLL says traffic and sales are actually on par with last year, if not up. So we're going to have to wait and see how this all shakes out. But so far, so good, I think, for Black Friday. Tyler?
Courtney, bring me one of those killer brownies from Dorothy Lane there in Dayton, all
You
right?
got it. I'll bring you more than one.
All right, Courtney Reagan, thanks a lot. While consumer electronics like TVs and gaming always seem to be big sellers, technology has also come to the toy aisle, not only transforming the what we buy, but how we buy it. Aditi Roy reports from Redwood City, California.
This Power Wheels ride-on toy that can literally take your child for a spin is a hot seller this year. The joystick-controlled gadget is also an example of a toy driven by tech, a popular theme among top sellers this year. Even the wildly popular Hatchimals are created by Spin Master, a toy company with a robotics division and known for innovation. Retailers say toy robots, kid-friendly drones, and even coding caterpillars are popular this year. Many of these products are Wi-Fi enabled.
So getting an opportunity to take something and really go into your iPad or go into any type of Android film and really program something for it to move. I think that's very cool because you learn coding, you kind of understand how things work. And so to see an item that you created through technology, through the robotics, it allows the child to kind of really feel like they created something on their own.
It's not the only way technology is transforming holiday shopping. The manager of this Toys R Us store in Redwood City, California, says online retail giants like Amazon and eBay have shrunk Black Friday lines.
That's how consumers shop nowadays. They go online, they look at the information, they compare and do reviews, and next thing you know, they buy.
A recent survey of holiday shoppers by Deloitte found shoppers plan to spend more than half, or 51% of their holiday shopping budget online.
This is the first time we've seen online actually outpaced in-store from a sales perspective over the holiday period.
But retailers are fighting back, beefing up their online strategies and highlighting their option to buy online and pick up in stores. At Toys R Us, they're also emphasizing the experience of Black Friday as a cultural event rather than just a day to buy things, staging the store for the ultimate consumer party.
Toy industry all happens in fourth quarter. So this is our kickoff to the season. Our kickoff to the big game. All the things we were practicing for the consumers, for our team members, especially for the customers, of getting the right flow in there. I mean, if you look around the store today, we're well jam-packed. We're in the best inventory level that I've ever seen within the last 9 years.
This store is in the middle of a 30-hour marathon sales event. They opened Thanksgiving and will stay open through this Black Friday. It's just another way they're trying to compete with online retail. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Aditi Roy, Redwood City, California.
Penney has had a rocky run over the past few years, but the department store is executing a strategy it hopes will turn things around and get shoppers spending in its stores. Morgan Brennan inside a Penney's at the Roosevelt Field Mall in Garden City, New York.
JCPenney had the earliest start time of the major retailers on Thanksgiving, opening its stores at 3 p.m. And shoppers lined up to get in, at least here at this Long Island location.
We got over here by like 5 o'clock and we started shopping, and now we've been at it for almost 3.5 hours.
Since then, staffers have struggled to keep pace with merchandise and boxes strewn about and many shelves picked clean. JCPenney has been rolling out appliance showrooms in 500 of its locations, including this one, betting on the housing recovery as a key part of its turnaround strategy under CEO Marvin Ellison, who was hired from Home Depot in 2015. The retailer's also expanding its partnership with Sephora, bringing the makeup boutiques into more of its department stores. At this Long Island location, there has been a lot of foot traffic in both of those areas. And as you can see over here, long lines at many of the store's cashiers. So what is luring shoppers?
The $10 off 10s, the $7.99 for the sheet sets, the towels. I mean, practically things are free in here.
Even if foot traffic has turned out to have increased this year, the question will be, how much has JCPenney, not to mention other brick and mortar retailers, had to discount to get these coveted consumers through the door? And at what expense to profitability? For Nightly Business Report, I'm Morgan Brennan on Long Island in New York.
Our next guest has names of retailers that she thinks will be the winners and the losers this holiday shopping season. She's Jessica Bourne, Senior Retail Analyst at Merchant Forecast. Jessica, welcome. Good to have you with us. I want to start by asking you whether Black Friday is as important as it used to be, since so many of the sales have been spread out, not just to Thanksgiving Day, but to last weekend and even before.
Yes, that is true. It's not just about one day of shopping anymore. What we saw is a lot of retailers break their Black Friday sale as early as last weekend, speaking to Black Friday sales in their marketing messages. This week in the mall, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Thanksgiving was already, we saw a lot of traffic. We saw a lot of people going to the mall looking for those deals because they realized the Black Friday verbiage was there and they thought they were going to get a deal early.
And so how does it work out for them? Do they make more money because they spread those sales out, or does it all sort of come out in the wash the same way, or do you even know?
I think they do make more money. I think people want to get their shopping out of the way early. I think they're maybe less inclined to go to the mall only on one day on Black Friday. Maybe they want to avoid crowds. Maybe if they think before they head out of town on a Tuesday or Wednesday, they can pop in the mall and get some of those savings early. I think that might be more appealing to some people.
Let's talk about some of the names that you think are going to do well, the stores that seem to have some mojo this time around. Name a couple. I see American Eagle Outfitters is one of your faves. What are they doing right?
Yes, I think what they're doing right is they've really welcomed all teenagers with open arms. And what I mean by that is, as you know, Abercrombie & Fitch, one of their main competitors, many years ago, they really stood for exclusionary practices. And I think they haven't been able to repair the damage they did to their brand. And American Eagle said, come to us. And what they've done is they've offered a collection that is in some cases, one size fits all. They have a new collection with the hashtag We All Can. It's all about body positivity, fashion that's safe for everyone, fashion that's affordable. Aerie, their intimates concept, is doing quite well by using real life models and not using airbrushing, and again, welcoming everyone to their store. And it's really the destination of choice for teens.
I just want to be clear, when you say that Abercrombie was exclusionary, do you mean that you had to look a certain way to look good in their clothes, or you had to have a six-pack abs to do it, or whatever?
Yes, you said it well. There was a certain look that they wanted to attract, and you know, the CEO did come out in many instances and say, hey, we just want the cool kids shopping here. And I think a lot of people won't forget that. You know,
you put on your list a couple of others that have not been necessarily knocking the cover off the ball lately, Coach and Target, though Target's turnaround seems to be going very well. What do you like from them quickly?
Actually, what we like at Target is the combination of fashion, home, and grocery. I think it's very important to remember that most Target locations offer a very large grocery selection. And I think while people are in the store shopping the fashion that's appealing to them, shopping the home departments, buying gifts, they're also going to do some of their holiday grocery shopping and liquor shopping while they're in the store. And that's a huge plus.
All right. Thanks very much, Jessica. We appreciate it. Jessica Bourne with Merchant Forecast. And still ahead, small caps have advanced for 15 straight sessions. And tonight, our Market Monitor has some names for your shopping list. Wells Fargo has asked a federal court to dismiss a lawsuit filed by customers over the creation of those fake bank accounts. The bank instead wants the disputes resolved in private arbitration. The motion is aimed at the first class action lawsuit filed after Wells agreed to pay $185 million in penalties for opening up unauthorized accounts. Johnson & Johnson begins talks with the Swiss drug maker Actelion, about a potential merger, and that is where we begin, or I try to begin, Markets Focus. The healthcare company confirmed today that it has approached the company after news surfaced of a possible deal, and Johnson & Johnson said the discussions are in early stages, while Actelion noted that it is not guaranteed a transaction will be reached. Johnson & Johnson shares rose almost 1% to $114.13. China's largest online travel site, Ctrip International, will buy the UK-based flight search company Skyscanner for more than $1.5 billion. The acquisition is expected to significantly expand Ctrip's air ticketing business. Shares of Ctrip up nearly 10% on the session to 45.01. The U.S. Department of Defense made an advance payment of nearly $1.3 billion to the aircraft maker Lockheed Martin as part of a contract that could be worth more than $7 billion. The final terms of the agreement for 90 fighter jets are still being finalized. Shares of Lockheed up marginally today at $265.92. The domain registration provider GoDaddy reportedly in talks to take over web hosting company Host Europe Group. The potential move would let GoDaddy expand its footprint in Europe. GoDaddy shares rose 1%. They finished at $36.82. Well, our market monitor has some small cap names she says should be in your portfolio. Last time she was on in May, she recommended Urban Outfitters up 29%, VF Corp down about 4%, Intel 18% higher. She's Kim Forrest, senior equity analyst at Fort Pitt Capital. Kim, welcome. Great to have you with us. You know, I was asking one of our earlier guests whether he worried that too much expectation has come into the market and that we may be vulnerable. How do you read it?
Well, I think that's always the case because, stocks really react to market news. And it looks like the S&P 500 is looking for, a double-digit year next year with respect to earnings. And if we don't get that, we might be disappointed as investors and, more importantly, as stockholders. But that being said, time's on your side. If you hold stocks long enough and you have confidence in the management team and the company and the products that they make, things generally turn out okay.
You have 3 stock picks, and we're going to start with one called 2-6, a hometown pick of yours.
It is.
In Pittsburgh. And one of the things in it and in your other picks that you like is significant management or foundership ownership.
Right. And in the world of small cap, where if you're into buying a smaller company, you're probably taking on way more risk, and thus you should be expecting way more reward. So how do you reduce those risks? Well, one of the ways we do it is we look for managements that have a lot of stock that they either bought themselves or bought by founding the company. Mm-hmm. And, that is the case of 2-6. The founder still owns an appreciable part of that company. And there are a lot of employees that are there from the very beginning of the company. So
Right.
That's kind of a risk reduction strategy.
He owns about 7.5% of the company. It makes
Yes.
equipment for optical networking. Let's move on to one that's sort of at the other end of the technology spectrum. That's Interparfum.
Yes.
IPAR. Tell us quickly about
Yes.
it.
Well, there are 2 founders there. Together, they own about 44% of that business, and they make perfume. Mm-hmm. A lot of that perfume gets bought in Europe, and we enjoy holding it because they act like a shareholder,
And
because
it smells
they
good.
are.
It smells good.
And
The
it
stock
smells good,
great.
yes.
And finally, quickly, 20 seconds on NetScout. What do they do?
Sure, they do system and network management, software and hardware. Doesn't that sound exciting?
Yeah.
But they've grown a lot, and they did a large acquisition, and we think they're going to be able to do really well, again, because the founder's still involved and owns a large portion of his own wealth is in that company.
All right, Kim, we'll check back with you in a few months. Kim Forrest with Fort Pitt Capital. Coming up, shopping small, why independent retailers have a lot riding on tomorrow. Small business owners are hoping that people wait until tomorrow to go shopping on what has become known as Small Business Saturday. The day was a big win for local retailers last year. And as Kate Rogers reports from Bedminster, New Jersey, they're hoping for the same type of turnout this year.
Small Business Saturday is all about community, encouraging customers to step away from malls and computers to support local neighborhood businesses. At Tons of Toys in Bernardsville, New Jersey, co-owner Anthony DeSalis is hopeful an emphasis on customer service will help set his business apart.
We absolutely pride ourselves on our service. We do the free wrap, free delivery for local people, so we go above and beyond for the service. And I think that there's a really strong push, and there's a grassroots movement for Shop Small. And when it's picked up by an organization like Amex, it becomes just that much stronger.
The store, one of 5 locations in New Jersey, does about 50% of its annual sales in the last quarter of the year. This location has participated in the event the past 3 years and has seen its sales increase each time. Small Business Saturday was launched in 2010 by American Express, landing on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Last year, sales hit $16 billion across the country, according to Amex, with 95 million people shopping at local retailers.
Good news for local retailers like Tons of Toys. Research from Amex shows that 76% of people who are aware of the holiday say they plan to shop small. And what's more, 48% of them say they plan to spend more this year than they did in 2015.
For Alicia Schaefer, owner of Three Bird Nest in Dublin, California, this Small Business Saturday is a bit different. She started selling handmade headbands 5 years ago online and became a big hit on Etsy. Since then, she's expanded her offerings, and this year, she decided to take the plunge and open her first brick-and-mortar business.
It's really like our following, that we kind of listen to them and really say, you know what, we're going to take the plunge and kind of go against the grain again. And really, everyone's going online. We're like, no, we're going to open up a brick-and-mortar store and really deliver our customers an amazing, custom shopping experience that they're not going to find anywhere else.
Back at Tons of Toys, customers like Christine Kelly say it's worth shelling out a few extra bucks to help the community.
You might pay a little bit more, but you know that what you're getting isn't just the product that you're buying, but the personal connection that you're making with someone from the community.
For Nightly Business Report, I'm Kate Rogers in Bernardsville, New Jersey.
And that'll do it for Nightly Business Report for this Friday. I'm Tyler Matheson. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you back here rough and ready on Monday.